I'm pretty sure I was in the hospital for about a week or two.
Yeah.
And then I went home and had to go back in for emergency surgery. So then I was there for like another couple days.
Was there a complication after the surgery?
Yeah, so it was I had a feeding tube that we decided on like last minute. And the doctor was like, or the surgeon was like, they have like low rate of like being unsuccessful or whatever, complications and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, like I guess I'll do it. Cause he's like, cause I was more afraid of like the feeding tube, I guess. So cause I was like, I don't want a feeding tube like down my throat.
Yeah.
And that'd be just horrible, you know? And he's like, it's just in case like you can't eat and all this stuff. So I was like, all right, whatever, we'll just do it. And then, so we did it. And then, yeah, I just wasn't like feeling good at all after I like got home. And I actually was like throwing up bile.
Oh.
And like, I wasn't throwing up anything because I can't throw up, which is lovely. But like I literally ate before and then like I threw up the bile and then it was like a lot. And my mom's like, all right, like if you keep having these problems and you're having pain, like I couldn't sit, stand, lay down. Like it was like the worst, like gas pain, I guess you could say, like feeling. And oh my gosh, it was the worst. And she's like, all right, just try and sleep tonight. If it doesn't get any better, like we'll go. And like I made her like sleep downstairs with me because I was like living at her house for a while because I was out of high school. We were living in Harriman.
And you're like, how can I sleep through this, Mom?
Yeah. Well, luckily she's an RN, so it's nice.
That.
Like I'm always like, you have to be right by my side because you know what you're doing, and I don't. Yeah. And so she was just like sleeping with me, and I was like up. I was actually watching Vampire Diaries. I remember that. And I like stood up, and I was like, oh man, and like I threw up like probably about 2 cups of bile, and it like came out of my nose because I tried to like hold it in. It was the worst.
That is the worst.
But like cow. she's like, all right, let's go. And it was like 4 a.m, so we drive all the way down from Syracuse to the U of U in Salt Lake, and we go through the ER, and I was like hunched over like because it hurt so bad, and then they get me in there, and they're like, all right, let's figure out what's going on. And they made me drink like the contrast stuff, and they had me like lay down, and I was like, I can't lay down, like it's killing me. Yeah. And then they took me into like the x-ray and like all this stuff to do all the testing and whatever. Mm-hmm. And they said that the J tube, it's like jejunum tube.
Yeah.
Which they just put like right in to my small intestine. Ugh. That got tangled up. So then everything was getting backed up that I like was trying to eat, like all the soft foods and stuff I was on. Yeah. And they said I had like bacteria in my blood, and then I had like gas in my liver.
Oh my God.
Like all this stuff. So
that is serious.
So I had to I literally got wheeled in to the operating room sitting up because I couldn't lay down because it was just like acid reflux, horrible. And I'm like, I call Gavin, and he's like, I'm like, well, I have to go in for surgery. And he's like, what the heck? Like, okay. And he gets off work because he thought I was fine, you know? Yeah. And then I just like go in, and they wheeled me in there, and you know, like all the lights like of the operating room, it's so scary. And they took this like really big like tube. Yeah. And like it was hard, and they like stuck it down my nose and like got everything out.
Oh my God! And you're conscious for all of this.
I literally though they kind of gave me like all this stuff to kind of fall asleep, to start falling asleep. Yeah. And they're like, we just gotta suction this out, and I was just like, oh, like it was horrible. And then I passed
tortured.
Out.
Yeah, you have been tortured.
I know, it was horrible. That was probably like one of the worst parts of like that whole thing is going back in, and then I had to stay for a couple more days, but. After I got that out, it was so much better. Like, and I felt way better. I felt normal, as normal as I could be. But yeah.
Dude, you've been through it. Holy moly,
it's been crazy. Yeah.
That was a great sound check.
Okay.
So, you ready?
Yeah,
we're doing it. All right. Is this taboo? evening, Hard Talks fam. You know what day it is. You know what time. It's time for Hard Talks with a Blonde and a Hippie. I'm your trippy hippie Alicia, jumping on the mic from good old Utah. And tonight I'm joined by a couple of cool cats. I'm going to introduce you to Hannah. She's going to be my co-host on a couple of episodes while Sarah is on maternity leave. How are you, Hannah?
I'm doing well. Thanks.
I appreciate you helping me out. We're going to have a lot of fun.
I hope so.
I have a lot to talk about. And we're also joined by the amazing Demi. Demi Staples. I've known Demi since, we were probably 15, right?
Yeah.
Sophomore year at Syracuse High School. But she is our photographer, actually. I've used Demi as my personal photographer for many, many years now. A lot of family shoots. Mine and Sarah's shoot as well with our pink tutus. But she's also a mother to 3, wife, creative, and I've always kind of looked up to you, man. You've always had your shit together, and I have not.
It might seem like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so you know what you're listening to? It's an 18 and up podcast. I curse like a sailor, talking everything controversial, difficult, or taboo. And I don't want to be responsible for your kids saying fuck or goddamn, so please slide in on your own time. And don't send me emails telling me that I need to curse less because I'm doing my own thing. And I love you, but slide in on your own time. I appreciate it. Today, I invited Demi to come on and talk about life, motherhood, because she just had another baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
3rd baby. And, you've been through the ringer. You're living life very healthily, if that's a word. Healthily, without a stomach. Yeah. And that's pretty amazing. And modern medicine has come a long fucking way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah. I wanted to mention this before we dive into the meat of all of it. Right before Demi and her husband got here, there's, me and Hannah are sitting down here, and I'm editing the episode that is dropping this previous Friday, and my cat's sitting next to me, and it sounded like really heavy breathing, like almost like seriously. And so I look over, like thinking it's my cat Lola, and there is a massive. And when I say massive, it was not. I'm not exaggerating.
No, I
know I'm a girl, but please, I'm gonna post some videos too.
I have the audio if you want me to play it.
I'm gonna post it to our Instagram page at Hard Talks with B&H because it was huge. And Hannah even calls her boyfriend Brody, and she's like, "Come over in here and kill this bug," because I'm screaming like a little bitch. And
it was hissing. It had antennas. The legs were like thick.
Yeah, it was kind of hairy too.
Sticky and
brown.
No.
And Brody, her boyfriend, is like, who I love dearly. Love you and shit, man. He's like, Alicia, I'm going to level with you. You're going to have to get a big boot and pretty much pull up your big girl chonies and smash it. And I cannot bring myself to do that.
We tried everything. We put it under a bowl because we got scared. And then we put it under cardboard to try to take it outside. To be humane, like we don't want to kill it,
well,
and at the same time, it would be gross all over the floor.
It wasn't necessarily even that. I just didn't want to clean up after it, and I have this bookshelf behind us where we record, and Hannah's like, "Well, hey, like you have a Bible? That's pretty thick." I'm like, "Dude, that's kind of sacrilegious."
I said we'd say the power of Christ compels them.
I don't think that counts, but I was like, "Here, you could use the Book of Mormon," and she's like, "That's not as thick." And
it was too flimsy. It was way, way too flimsy. And I feel like it would have jumped or hissed again because the hissing thing is what got me. That's what scared the living hell out of me was the fact that it hissed.
Yes, beetles should not hiss.
No, and his antennas were everywhere. Oh,
everywhere. Yeah, and like Brody wasn't very helpful because he's like, girlfriend, like.
I called him for help, and he's with his dad fixing our washer, and he was like, "Okay, just kill it." And I was like, "I don't think you understand
how big it was,
the magnitude of this thing. I'm not even going to call it a bug. It's a thing. I don't know.
A thing. Like, dude, like I literally had a panic attack. I felt like a dipshit because I was screaming like, more like squawking like a little, like a fucking bird. Like I'm sure my neighbor next door is like, what the fuck is going on? But
I still think we should have just blown torch it.
Yeah, she wanted
spray and a lighter and just torch that bitch.
It's carpeted down here.
We can burn a hole in the carpet. You can replace carpet. You can't pay for my therapy session I'm gonna need from this. So,
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just lo and behold, Demi and Gavin come, and I even was like, hey, I have a bug trapped in a bowl. And I haven't had the ability to kill it yet. And because I also knew a man was coming. I was like, this is the only time I've ever needed a man. Like, and he literally took care of it like a champ. He just flipped the bowl over and he threw it off my deck, like threw it out of the bowl off my deck.
He's used to me screaming for him for bugs.
He did make me feel better when he went up to show you though, because he's like, she actually, when she said big, it was actually big. Like, yeah, it wasn't small. Anyways, so that was our experience. It was a lot. Yeah,
it was a lot.
I literally,
it's bringing back flashbacks.
Yeah, happened like 20 minutes ago. Anyway, so Demi, how old were you when you went in and they did testing on you and decided to take this preventative measure and remove your stomach, because you don't have any stomach at all? Is that correct?
Yes, 100% no stomach.
Yeah.
I was 17 when I went and got tested after finding out that my uncle had the cancer as well. And he was positive for the gene, which is CDH1. And my sister also got tested. She was 15. And she was negative, and I was positive. So, yeah, I was 17 when I got tested for it, and then I turned 18 the next year in April 2013.
Yeah.
And, so April of 2013, I was 18. I found out I had it. And then November that same year is when I had my surgery.
Yeah. So how do they reroute everything? Because, I think that's probably one of the biggest questions you get, right? Like, well, how do you eat? And, some people have a severe situation where they need like a feeding tube or I can't think of the
like
bags.
The pouch.
Yes, the bags.
Everyone asked me that too. They're like, do you have a pouch? Do you have like whatever? But no, so what they did was take my esophagus and hook it right up to my small intestine.
Wow.
And then it doesn't just go right through. Let me just clear that up now. Everybody's always like, you go right to the bathroom. No, actually, I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what they told me is like your stomach is just kind of like a holding place for your food, and it turns it to like, it helps like the acid breaks it down like applesauce texture, I guess you could say, and then it goes on to digest in your small intestine, and your small intestine is actually where you digest. Okay. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So I just have to my mouth has to be my stomach. I got to chew really good, and that's about it. Like,
does your body have a harder time like absorbing nutrients?
I would say a little bit. I would say too with like medicines, like pills, like vitamins and stuff like that. Like I have to kind of take it with food.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it won't. Like I've taken Tylenol or ibuprofen before, and like I feel like sometimes it works, and then there's times where it doesn't work. So like digest sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. So
do you have to chew your pills?
No.
Okay.
No, I just swallow them. I've tried to do like liquid medicine before, but I can't bring myself to do it. Yeah. It's too hard.
It's the worst. But it's kind of funny. Elliot, he has really bad hay fever and allergies.
Oh, and, Sage too.
Yeah, it's been terrible this year with all the fires and stuff. But I got this organic, like non-dyed allergy, just like this generic medicine, and he actually likes the freaking flavor. I'm like, what kind of kid? He's like, it tastes like grape, Mommy. I'm like,
that's funny.
Hey,
Corbin
but the
hates grape.
when you were a kid.
Oh, the bubble gum.
Oh, the bubble. Oh my God. I would want to get sick so I could taste that.
That's my daughter too. She's the same way.
You know,
I just need to go get the bubble gum medicine, Mom. Yeah.
I've always had an aversion to like Pepto-Bismol. I'm a texture person, and it's just so thick. And anyway, tangent. But you know, that's very interesting. Like, or is there anything like that? Any foods you have to stay away from specifically?
Mostly just like dairy. I can eat cheese. I can eat
drink.
Yeah, I can like
alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you drink alcohol?
I mean, I haven't really like drank alcohol.
Yeah.
I've tried, but it just kind of like hits me fast and then goes away.
Okay.
And a lot of them are really high in sugar, and that's kind of one of the problems is like the high sugars. Because if you have too much sugar, which also like starches they can kind of cause it too, but it's called dumping syndrome. And then I'll go to the bathroom like right then. If after I'll feel it, like I'll start feeling like my blood sugar low, and I'll just have to go straight to the bathroom, and it sucks. So I really try not to like eat stuff that has
a lot of sugar.
But I've built up a tolerance. Like it's crazy. I'm in like a Facebook group of people who have also had this surgery, and they're like, I can't even eat a piece of chocolate without getting dumping. Like, and I'm just like, I can eat a whole cupcake or a cheesecake, so I'm good. Like, just build up your tolerance. And you'll be fine.
And what is that dumping? What is that?
It's basically like TMI, like diarrhea. Like you go like, you have to go like, and you just.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
It literally is exactly what it sounds like. Like you just go, and then afterwards you're like sweating. You're like low blood sugar. You're dying. Like it feels like it. And I actually got pretty lucky. I haven't had it really at all. Like even when I was like recovering, kind of learning what I could eat and not eat. Like the only time I had horrible was when I tried to eat a Wendy's Frosty. Ooh. And I was like, never again.
Never again.
I'll take a couple bites and we're good.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe a couple fries.
Yeah.
Dude, What was the process like? You got your testing done, and then how soon after were they like, hey, like we really recommend that you get this because you have this cancer gene?
So my dad passed away when he was like 28, and then my uncle got sick 15 years later after that, and he was like, I think he was like about 40 or just turned 40.
That's so young.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And they don't see stomach cancer in people young, like this young. Yeah. And so they actually were like, well, you'd be fine to like wait till you're about 26. However, like, because your dad wasn't, that old. And my mom was like, heck no. Like, she's like, I don't care if it's your right to like pick it. Like, you should do it. She's like, I don't know why. I just feel like in my heart, like, you need to get it done. And
well, do you think you recovered so well because you got it done so?
Honestly, probably I did, yeah. So young and not, like a lot of people that I've come across in like that group I was talking about, they're a little bit older, they just found out they had it, or like, but then they get their kids tested and their kids are like 15 to 18 and they're like opting to do it and stuff. But yeah, I'm really lucky that I had my mom push me to do it because they did the surgery, and then the biopsy actually came back with stomach cancer starting to form.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like right in the very lining.
She never doubt that motherly instinct,
right?
Or the gut instinct, just in general. Like,
well, how was that on your mental health though?
Yeah,
like that young. Because when I was 17 and 18, I was not capable of feeling that heavy of an emotion of I could die of cancer.
Yeah, like it was really hard to like when I went in for the surgery, I was like, this is so stupid. Like, why am I doing this? Because I kind of didn't really understand, like, and I was just like, what if I go into it and then like I was fine, but then they like came in and told me that, and I was just like, holy shit.
Well, and I'm sure in retrospect, looking back on it, especially being younger, and having such a good recovery, I'm sure you're like, damn, that's probably one of the best things I could have ever done.
Yeah, well, they said, like, if I didn't do it, like, when I was 18, if I didn't do it, like, 6 months, it would have been stage 4.
Holy shit.
That's
Stage 4.
insane.
That's how aggressive stomach cancer is. It's aggressive.
It's about as bad as like pancreatic cancer? Because I know
I
that's
think so, yeah.
like if you get pancreatic cancer, you're done.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Like it's pretty bad, yeah. But like once the cancer is out of your stomach lining and into your lymph nodes, you're done.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened to my dad because he was sick. They didn't know what the heck was going on. They got tested, and the only way you can really find it is if it's out of your stomach, or like if you get your stomach removed and they cut it up and see if it's in there. Because like mine was literally like the very first stages. Like
my God.
it was T1A.
Yeah.
There's like a whole list of like how like all the levels of it. But yeah, they opened him up. They're like, we'll do this. We'll try and get it out. They opened him up and we're like, yeah, no, you got like a month to live. And they sent him, all my whole family from Germany, who were living in Germany because he was in the Air Force, and sent all of us on like a big old plane and from Germany to Indiana. And then he had to be on hospice, and then he just like passed away in the home. But yeah,
that is aggressive.
How old were you when that went down?
I was 4. And my little sister was 1. She just turned 1.
Oh.
And then I also had my 2 older sisters that are my half sisters that they have a different dad, so they luckily don't have to worry about the gene.
I was gonna ask if the gene came from your dad's side.
Yeah,
it sounds like
we believe so. My grandpa, a little stubborn, his little Greek stubbornness, he won't get tested for it. I think kind of feels a little bit guilt if he was positive, but my grandma did get tested and she was negative for it, so that's good. But yeah, it would be nice to know like where it came from.
Yeah.
But can't really do it much when he's in Greece.
Right, I know. And I always love that too. Your maiden name is Strategakos.
Yes.
Yes. And you've been to Greece too.
Yes, just once. I wish I could go again, but it's pricey.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of extended family over there still, don't you?
Yeah, I just mostly like it's like cousins and stuff, but most of my family's like in Ohio and Indiana and stuff like that. But then my mom's family's here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you had like such a great support system throughout all of that.
Me too.
So I know you said that you were anemic as well.
Yeah.
Are there any other like specific vitamins that you have to take to keep up on health wise?
Yeah, so I have to get B12 injections every month, and then I have to take calcium because I don't drink milk. I mean like almond milk. I guess it has pretty much good calcium.
Yeah,
that's what the box says. more than regular milk is what it says. So I guess. But yeah, I just have to do calcium. And I'm supposed to have a nutritionist, but I haven't really gotten one like set in stone yet. But I think it would really help me to get one. But yeah,
are you gonna get your kids tested?
Yes, I am. I can actually do it now, but I really don't want to yet.
Oh, right.
I don't want to carry that around with me and be like, you do or don't. Like, I'm praying that they don't. But
wait until, you know, like your sister's age. 15 seems like a good age where they're at least like, I mean, obviously, like at that age, being a teenager, you don't understand the full scope of things, but I still feel like you have a level of consciousness to take it very seriously.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
Yeah, and I do feel guilty though, but because we were supposed to take my eggs and get them all tested, and they could like weed out the bad ones, I guess, and like I think freeze them.
Wow.
But I was like 18, you know, it's like,
is that covered by insurance?
Right, exactly. That's why I was like, this is gonna be expensive, and I don't really need to have like IVF, like all that stuff. And I didn't know, and I never really talked to anybody. And then 2 years after my surgery, lo and behold, got pregnant with Sage.
Yeah.
So
how old is Sage now?
She is going to be 5 in 2 weeks.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
I know.
Dude.
Next 2 Fridays. She keeps asking me every morning, is it my birthday? Is it my birthday? Not yet.
Dude, we went to, this is a little sidebar, but we went to Texas Roadhouse. Do you remember my friend Jason Talon?
Yes.
We're in a band together. And amongst other things. But we went to dinner to Texas Roadhouse the other night with me, him, and Elliot. And we sit down to the table. And the first thing that comes out of Elliot's mouth was, "It's my birthday today." His birthday's in March. And I'm like, well, I guess we're rolling with this now, you know? And
At least they won't ID him.
Right. And so he's like, "Oh, I'll make sure to let the waiter know." And as he's walking away, he's like, "Oh, also," yes. And he said also. He has like the best vocabulary ever. Like now his whole kick is like, least but not last. Like that comes after every other sentence. But he's like, "Oh, also, this is not my dad." And I literally was like,
oh my gosh.
did that just come out of your mouth? Like, and I was so embarrassed, but I was laughing hysterically too. And all I could do was lay my fucking head down on the table. And Jason's laughing and he's like, "Oh yeah, just so there's no confusion, that's not my fucking kid." And I was literally like, this is my wife. But yeah. He is a trip and he's obsessed with birthdays too. I can't believe she's so big already.
I know.
But you have 2 other kiddos.
Yes.
Corbin is how old?
He's about, I sound dumb, 21 months. He's like,
that's not dumb at all.
He's like a year and a half. So don't come at me for that. 21 months. His birthday's October. So he's almost there. And then Carson will be 2 months old on the 25th of this month.
Yes.
He's so cute.
Thank you.
And your kids are beautiful. I love the
thank
pictures
you.
that you just took with your newborns.
Oh, yes.
They're
those
so
were
cute.
adorable.
Did you take those?
No, I hired somebody. I wish.
Yeah,
I don't have like the studio space for that. I would totally.
Girl.
Because I don't want to spend that money.
Yeah, dude, girl, you're always my go-to though because
thank
you
you.
have an eye.
Oh.
But did you have an issue? Well, obviously not because you got pregnant with Sage, but did you have any other issues conceiving the other 2?
I did a little bit. So with B12, if you don't like produce it and you're low in it, it can actually cause like miscarriages. And we got pregnant. Like accidentally got pregnant. Well, I mean, we did, but
Yeah.
surprise got pregnant, I guess you could say. When Sage was about, I want to say she was 2. She just turned 2 probably. Yeah. And so we found out we were pregnant and then I lost it at like, I want to say it was really early, like really, really early, like 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that.
I'm so
like
so
it was
sorry.
devastating.
Yeah,
you know,
that's so
but
hard.
It wasn't that devastating to me. Like I was like, all right, it's all right. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't
wasn't
far
that
along.
emotional connection quite yet. Yeah.
And then me and Gavin were like, okay, well, maybe we should just try for another one. And then so we did. And then that one, and I hadn't been keeping up on my B12. And I was like, you know, I didn't really think about that. And they were taking my levels when I got pregnant of like my vitamins and all that. And they're like, well, they seem fine, like all this stuff. And so then we got pregnant again. And we went to like all the appointments and like heard the heartbeat and all that stuff. And then I lost it at 10 weeks, like 10, 11 weeks. And that one was really hard. It was even hard on Gavin. Like, yeah, it was really devastating to go through that. But yeah, then after that, I was like, well, maybe it was like my B12. Like maybe I was low in vitamins and stuff like that. And I was reading online that when you're like low in it or like you don't produce it, that it can cause problems for like the fetus to grow like a brainstem. So, I mean, in reality, I was like, well, if it did go full term, like there probably could have been lots of stuff wrong with it.
Major complications, yeah.
But yeah, so after that, kept up on my B12s and my vitamins and did good. And then we had Corbin, so
yes.
So it was hard though because I was like, this isn't real. Like after that,
right?
After having a miscarriage is hard, and
I
know you know that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Rainbow babies are, you know, they're just little miracles.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that you've had, you know, 2 more after Sage, but 3 healthy, beautiful babies. How was your pregnancies?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't throw up, so that's a plus. I do get super nauseous.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Yeah, I get super nauseous, but yeah, I don't throw up. Sometimes I kind of wish that I could, though. Like,
just to make it
relieve it, you know.
Sometimes
but
it makes you feel better, and it
I know,
gives you
right?
that adrenaline rush, so it's like, at least I'll feel better for 10 minutes.
Yes. Yes.
Gosh.
But, yeah, I didn't have any problems. kind of nice. I could eat whatever I want and like gain however much weight. And everybody still was like, "Are you sure you're pregnant? How far along are you?" I'm
Seriously?
Like, yes, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Your last baby.
Yeah.
You kept a secret.
Yes, I did.
Until he literally was earthside.
Yes, I did.
God, I couldn't ever do that.
I literally couldn't contain myself. I would lose my mind. So how was that, keeping that from your family?
You know, honestly, it wasn't too bad. Mostly was...
It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Because,
great.
like, I feel like with the whole COVID thing, we stayed inside, didn't really see anybody.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest person it was to not tell was, like, my mom and my sisters. And then Gavin wanted to tell his mom, like, really bad. But I was like, your mom's the worst at secrets. She'll totally tell everybody. And then we didn't even tell Sage.
Yeah.
Because Sage would be like, my mom has a baby in her belly.
Yeah.
Like, you know? So
Yeah.
we didn't even tell her until we told everybody else. And she was, like, so excited. And my sisters were all pissed off at me. They're like, why didn't you tell us? You're, like, 20 weeks now. And
Yeah.
So it seemed after, like, that, the pregnancy went, like, really fast. Like, it seemed super short after telling everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't pregnant for that long, but I was.
And you got pregnant. You guys got pregnant during quarantine.
Yeah,
A
ish.
COVID boom
Yes.
baby.
It is
COVID
good.
baby.
Another baby boom.
It really is. I keep saying that.
Yeah, it's weird because Corbin was born right before all the COVID stuff happened. So, like, we didn't go anywhere
Yeah.
with him. Like, we didn't go into stores. We didn't do anything. Like, when I was pregnant, I took him to the store with Sage, and I was like, well, this is weird. I've never taken you into a store. And he, like, doesn't know how to act in a restaurant because we've never been. And we took him to Applebee's, like, forever ago, and I was like, okay, this should go well. And it was all right.
I'm sure he was like, holy cow, like,
yeah, what is this place?
everything's bright and foreign. And
Right?
like, yeah. That's a trip. Oh, so I literally saw you in March at Elliot's birthday party, and no, there was no telling because when I found out through your Facebook post, and I was like, is this a joke? Like, did I miss something? I was like, there's no way. Like, I literally had to read it probably 3 or 4 times because I was like, holy crap, congratulations. Like,
It's funny too because at his birthday, you're like, what's new with you guys? I was like, nothing. Not much, you know, just living life.
Definitely not creating a human. That's for sure.
Yeah, just growing an eyeball here. It's okay. Like, damn, dude, that's crazy. So did you carry all your kids full term?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corbin was a little bit early. He was like 3 weeks early. But that wasn't due to like any complications or anything.
That's
it was just,
awesome.
Yeah, natural went into labor and well, except for Sage, I got like my membrane strip, but still technically actually labor. But yeah, they all.
Was your recovery pretty extensive or long?
No, I actually feel like my recovery time with all of them was really easy. I think Sage's was probably the longest just because it was my first.
Yeah.
Corbin's was like so fast. I feel like I didn't even like bleed or
bounce back.
Anything. Like, it was crazy. And then with Carson, I actually had the emergency C-section.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I was always like really afraid of like a C-section and the healing and like all that. And it really wasn't too bad. The worst part, was probably not being able to pick up Corbin when I got home, and he was just like, Mom, like, and I was just like, you have to have Dad pick you up. I can't. I'm sorry. Like, I felt so bad, and
that breaks your mom heart.
Oh, it was horrible, and I had to have him like crawl up on me, and then I have the baby like right next to me, and like, it made me feel bad, but.
Was there any jealousy or sibling rivalry?
Yeah, a little bit at first, but. It was funny because Corbin didn't even want to, like, touch him. He's like, what is that? And then now he's, like, on top of him.
Yeah.
Kisses him on the head and, like, slobbers in his hair. He goes, ew.
I'm sure Sage
So
wants
cute.
to help all the time.
Oh, yeah. Always wants to, like, hold him. He wants to give him his binky and lay by him and snuggle him. And
that's so awesome.
Yeah, they're cute.
You guys are doing so well.
Thanks.
How was the recovery on your surgery? Was it pretty extensive for that?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks, I want to say, if I remember right. I was in the hospital before I had that emergency surgery.
Yeah. And that sounds like, I mean, so many things could have happened there.
Yeah.
Like, you could have gone septic. Like, it could have really,
You're just a lot stronger than I am. Because I, like, stubbed my toe, and I'm like, I need to call off work for the next 3 days. I can't do this.
I have my days.
I have a hangnail. I can't tie it.
I have a hangnail.
no.
Like,
So
she's just like, yeah, I had my stomach removed and then 3 kids and I'm fine. Great.
Well, dude, and I know, like, because I was thinking about that when I asked you if you'd want to come on and talk about it, because I'm sure when people hear that, they're like, what? Like, how does that work? You know?
Yeah.
And
I get that all the time. How do you eat? What? Like, are you sure?
I'm sure you're probably sick of it too. Like,
it's funny, like, to see this, like, the look on their faces, like,
they're trying to tie it all together.
Really? Are you sure? Like,
do you feel full when you eat?
Yeah, I do.
Do you feel hungry then too?
I don't get like the growling of like my stomach because that's like a muscle spasm of your stomach. But I get like cravings and stuff. So I kind of just go along with my cravings. I'm like, I want this.
I know someone who had something similar happen, and it wasn't a full removal of their stomach, but they
like the bypass.
Yeah. And so like they didn't have any cravings or didn't feel hunger anymore. So they, when they could eat fully again, like they had to reintroduce things really slowly back into their diet, starting with like soft foods. But then like, since they didn't have any cravings or ever felt hungry, they also had to eventually set like timers for themselves.
I did that at first.
Yeah, to remind themselves to eat. So
I did that at first because, I mean, like before I could go like hours, you know, without eating, and I'm like, I'm fine, you know.
Yeah.
And then, like, I would always kind of freak out though in the middle of the night, and I'd be like, do I have to eat in the middle of the night? Like, am I gonna get super sick if I don't? Like, is something gonna happen? But I was fine. Like, it's just kind of like fasting, and usually I'm fine. But
I'm glad you brought up the mental health aspect of that, because that's a lot to put on a 17, 18-year-old. You know what I mean? I could imagine like laying in my bed and being like processing the whole thing. You know what I mean? Especially after the removal of your stomach, and be like, oh, just exactly like you said, is everything like going swimmingly through there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I mean, I guess it'd be no different than like removing your gallbladder or like your,
but it would be.
Yeah. I mean, like, it would be.
Like, honestly, I thought it would be way more like life altering, but it's really not. Like, besides like not being able to eat certain things. Yeah. Right. But like I can really eat anything. I can eat a steak. I can eat a whole cupcake, a whole cheesecake. I can, you know. That's awesome. I found ice cream. Luckily now there's people who are all health freaks, so everything's vegan, everything's like, you know, like
dairy free.
Dairy free. It's nice. Yeah. I actually just found a dairy-free ice cream that I like really love at Smith's, and I was like, I need to stock up on it because I've been craving ice cream like for 8 years that I've had this, like, you know, and I just can't eat it. But
I'm not an ice cream person. I'm a salty person. No, you're good. If you need to take a break, you totally can. We're almost done.
I mean, I can feed him.
Yeah, definitely. Do your thing. Daniel San.
What's he want?
Did y'all end up getting it? We had a man do it for us.
Like, no, it's still here. He's the third co-host. He's just a part of it.
Yeah, we left the bug in the bowl. That's what's happening right now. Goodness. Ugh.
I wanted to pull up the website.
Look at my baby. Look at him.
Yeah, Hannah, while you're looking up that website, tell me a little bit about your life, Hannah.
I'm not that interesting.
You are pretty interesting.
Yes and no. I mean, my life now is stable.
Yeah.
So it's not as interesting as it used to be.
That's a good thing that it's stable.
Right, but now I'm just boring.
No. You have a fabulous boyfriend named Brody.
I love him to pieces.
Yes, I love him to pieces too.
If only we could just replicate parts of Brody, so that way there's just more of him. Because I get him all the time. But, you know, sometimes Carlos wants him. Sometimes.
And you don't like to share?
No, I don't.
You guys freaking kill me. And then you have 3 fur babies now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got
I have Tails, but we call her Baby. She doesn't Baby and Mama because she had kittens. So she doesn't respond to Tails. We have Goose, but Goose is the same way. We just call him Handsome Boy. So if we're trying to get him, we have to call him a handsome boy or he will not come.
Yeah. He will not come. My cat doesn't do shit.
No, obviously not.
No.
She didn't do shit.
You'll see
when
in the
that bug was
videos.
there.
You will see in the videos. It's she love her, but god damn it, she's useless.
And then I have Frankie, who's the baby of our 2 other cats. And I work at the hospital.
Yes, you have a job in the medical field and you're crushing it.
I wouldn't say that.
And you have some projects I won't name that are exciting and on the horizon, so stay tuned for those.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yes, to be continued on that. We'll touch on that as that
kind of develops.
Yes. It's kind of funny before we jump back into not a tangent. I literally on the last episode was saying how much of a warrior my cat is. I take it back.
Yeah.
This bug was bigger than a silver dollar, no, not okay. And she was just literally sitting right in front of it, staring at it. I'm like, this is great. This is great. So what was that website that you wanted to mention?
It was just the nostomachforcancer.org.
Mm-hmm.
That, I don't know if it was the creator of the website. I believe it was. Maybe. I don't remember. Her name was Beth, I think. And, that website just has, everything you need to know, really, about stomach cancer. Has, the nutrition and research about it and all that stuff. And, it just helped me with information. So if you want more information about it, then I guess you could go look at it.
What was it again? Tell me one more time.
Nostomachforcancer.org.
Sweet. Yeah. I think that'd be, good for anyone who might be going through what you were going through.
Or even just curious.
Yeah, no kidding.
And you can get genetic tested for any cancer gene, and you should.
Yeah, I did.
I always tell people, you should get tested for this. Even if I don't know their story,
for ovarian and breast cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Both of my grandmas have passed from ovarian cancer.
Yeah.
And then my mom got breast cancer at 30, which is really young.
Yeah, that is way young. When
I went in for a physical, because I'm a horrible person and didn't go for 5 years, I didn't see anybody.
Okay.
And when I did, they were like, we should probably test you.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a good idea? And I was like,
Maybe.
Yes. But now I know I don't have those genes. So yeah, it is a little bit of a piece of it.
Yeah, especially if it runs in your family. Because like Demi was saying, I mean, depending on what it is, it could be incredibly aggressive. So better safe than sorry.
And with my gene too, I have a 60% chance of getting lobular breast cancer. So I have to get mammograms annually and stuff, which I haven't gone yet. But yeah,
have you gotten a mammogram?
I have.
I've had a mammogram too.
They squish these into the size of a fucking crepe.
I'm lucky that I have small saggy breasts. You have boulders. Dude, I can't. So I actually had to go in and have a biopsy done because I have these cysts in my breasts and they're benign, but especially if I'm, on my cycle, they hurt, it gets really tender. But even that hurt because they have to press so hard down on with the ultrasound
whatever
stick. Yeah, whatever the fuck it's called. Now you guys are going to give me shit in the email. I love it. I love it when you guys email and tell me what I said wrong because I live for it. But
guess who's coming in, by the way, on Monday?
Who?
Janice.
Oh. Would you like to, share that story about Janice really quickly? Because it's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's a pseudonym. That's not her real name.
It's nothing close to her real name. I just hate this woman, and I've never met a Janice I liked, so I chose that name to share this story with my friends because it ruined my week.
It makes you wonder what goes through people's heads,
Well, I know she's sick. Anyway, Anyway, I'm going to start from the beginning. I go into work on a Monday, and
Of course, it's Monday.
yeah, one of my PAs come up and they're like, hey, Janice is coming in today. And I was like, she just had her 2-week post-op. Like, I don't understand. We do hip and knee replacements where I'm at. So I was like, I don't get why she's coming in, but like, okay, cool. I'll put her on the schedule. Didn't think anything of it. She thought she had an infection. She didn't.
She could have, because
no, not that day.
Oh, okay.
But then, so my day goes by, she comes in, and he's like, no, you don't have infection. Kind of just deal with it. I know it's hard having a hip replacement, but fun fact, hips are easier to recover than knees are.
Yeah.
By a million.
Okay.
So if you are debating on whether to get a hip or a knee done, get your hip done, because knees are a bitch.
Who wants to have that ultimatum?
If it makes you feel better, I don't know. I deal with it every day.
Damn.
But on Wednesday, my main doctor came in, and he was like, Janice is coming in. And I was like, no, she came in on Monday. And he's like, she's coming in, and I'm going to talk to her, and it's not going to be a good talk. Okay. So just prepare for that. And I was like, okay. So she comes in, and I'm not going to say his name, but the doctor that I work for, he is the sweetest doctor. He has the best bedside manner. He asks like you questions to make sure that you're comfortable with the surgery. He'll sit in there if you're hesitant. Like, he is just amazing when it comes to bedside manner. Never heard this man swear in my life. And they bring her back to room 1, so I get to hear everything.
Janice deserved it.
She did. Because I didn't find out till later what she did, so I'm going to save that. But I can just hear him saying, I don't give a shit. I don't give a flying fuck, Janice. And I was like, oh my God, like, what's happening? And he comes out of the room, and, oh no, he also threatened to amputate her leg.
Uh-huh.
I heard that. And I was like, this man, like, there's something
He's lost it.
very, very wrong. And he comes out of that room, and he's like, okay, I'm going into emergency surgery. So the 20 patients you have booked for the afternoon, move them. So that was fun. But he comes back early from his surgery because they just did a washout where they essentially clean everything. Yeah. This woman on a 2-week incision site, and they're big.
On your hip, yeah.
You can't take somebody's hip out and put new things in. Like, you can't do that lightly.
Yeah. I wouldn't think you could.
No, no, it's a big, nasty scar. She not only ripped out her own stitches, not once, but twice. She was making herself fall at the care facility she was in because she thought that could cause infection.
Is she an older lady?
Like 50, 60.
That old.
So yeah, no, pretty typical age. And the killer is she decided to rub her own shit and lotion inside of her incision. So that way she would get an infection, so she would get attention. So
yeah, you heard that right. Feces.
Yeah.
And lotion.
My God, it was terrible. I saw pictures.
What?
I saw pictures because I wanted to know. Because he came back and
You're curious.
He's been in the field for over 20 years. And he was like, I have never in my life seen anything so disgusting.
Wow.
And I was like, and this man's the chief of surgery. So I was like, he's seen some shit, you know? Like,
literally.
He's seen things. He's seen things. And no, he was like, that was disgusting. And I was like, do you have pictures? Can I read the note? Because she's a patient and I can do that. And he was like, yeah, I'll show you one. And it was gross. It was nasty. But she's coming in for her 6-week follow-up. She's been in the psych ward because they think she has a
Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah, I just can never say that because I've only known that
Munchausen syndrome. Yeah,
because I know there's the by proxy, which is the most common one where the mom makes the child sick.
Yeah, or the parent.
For attention, but you can just have it.
Fucking Gypsy Rose Blanchard shit right there, man.
Exactly.
That's a trip. And if you don't know who that is, Google that shit.
But yeah, there's just one of many stories of just the weirdest shit that comes in because I did not think working for an ortho surgeon or a trauma. I kind of expected some different things, but not.
She was homeless though, right? Too.
Yeah,
So she didn't want to leave the care facility either.
No,
That
she
makes
hated
sense.
the care facility.
Oh,
She wanted a better one. She was trying to blame everything on them. She said that they took her stitches out, that
Oh
they
my
were pushing her down
goodness.
and making her fall.
Damn it, Janice.
Yeah, she's a psycho, dude. Like, anyway.
Oh,
There's my
poor lady.
tangent.
Yeah, I mean, and she's sitting on the side on my left. I'm boring. Shut up, Hannah.
My job's the most exciting thing about me.
Whatever. We do a lot of crazy hooligan stuff together, but we won't talk about that right now. One more thing I wanted to ask you before I jumped into Gavin, because you guys are the epitome of like a love story right here. I know you've breastfeeding with
Yeah.
have you breastfed with all of your kids?
Sage, I didn't because I was young.
Yeah.
And I know it's not an excuse, but I didn't really like research it. And I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Like, I had a really hard time with that, actually, like deciding whether to breastfeed her or not breastfeed her.
Yeah.
She wouldn't latch, which later on I found out she had a pretty bad lip tie, but I never got fixed. But luckily it fixed itself. But yeah, she wouldn't breastfeed. Corbin breastfed for about 3 months. I felt like after 3 months, though, like my supply kept going up and down. Like he didn't seem satisfied or like anything like that. But Carson's actually like really good eater.
Good.
Yeah. I was like, maybe I can do this.
Yeah, I just asked because it literally you burn like freaking so many calories when you breastfeed. So with your diet and everything, like, do you have to like make sure you're maintaining or like eating extra calories?
Yeah, I've been trying to. It's hard now with 3 kids.
Yeah, because it also drains a lot of your own nutrients.
Yeah.
So, have you had to take any additional supplements to?
My doctor said to just like double up on like iron, and that's kind of about all I've been doing. Other than that, just trying to eat a lot, which it doesn't have a problem with me because like I literally am always like I just need a snack.
Yeah,
I just need a snack.
I'm a terrible snacker.
Oh, I know, I am too.
I'm a terrible eater. Like I could go. I really am bad, and I'm working on it. I'm working on it, guys. But I could go all day and like get hungry at 9, and then.
Well, see, I used to be like, well, no, I'm worse now because I got on antidepressants. So I'm no longer a sad, anxious being. And I was one of the lucky ones. That
Congratulations. They're working for you really well, too, you said.
Well, I mean, hopefully you can see a difference.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go into all of that.
Later.
My appetite, it's not a thing anymore. Like,
Really?
I don't get hungry. Ever. So Brody will get mad at me because I'll come home and be like, he's like, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry. And he's like, did you have a big lunch? I'm like, no, I didn't eat lunch.
Yeah.
Because at my job, we don't get breaks. We don't get lunches. Our break is running downstairs and coming right back up. So, I mean, if I want to eat, I can, but I have a lot of shit to do. So I just don't. And he'll be like, well, what'd you eat today? And I'm like,
a cheese stick.
Yeah, I'll be like, I had a Red Bull. And he's like, a Red Bull? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and what else?
Yeah. You know, I'm really bad when
A granola bar.
when I have like 3 cups of coffee and I'm sitting in my cubicle and I can't focus for longer than 5 minutes. Like adult ADHD is fucking real, guys. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I need to get better at that.
Protein shakes have helped me. I know they're not like, at least the ones that I drink, they're not calorie dense, but they're better than stocking up on coffee or Red Bull.
Yeah, that's true.
My typical thing when I'm working is I will get to work, I'll have my cup of coffee. I will, like 2 hours later, I'll have my protein shake and I'll just kind of sip on that while I'm doing my work. And then around lunchtime, everybody else is eating, so I'm reminded to eat. And I'll either grab like half of a sandwich. I usually don't finish it though.
Yeah. Well,
but I mean, I try. And then I come home and then Brody makes me eat something. So
you have a good boyfriend.
Yeah, he makes me eat. Well, because I used to pass out. Because
you're anemic too, aren't you?
Yeah, but I just, again, appetite's not something that's normally on my side. So I would just not eat and then I'd get really cranky and then really dizzy. And then all of a sudden I'd pass out, and then my friends, because it's happened multiple times, I'd wake up and they'd be like, "What'd you eat today?" And I'm like, "What time is it?" It's 7
let me check
o'clock.
my calendar really quick.
I've had half of a piece of chicken, and then they'll make me eat, and then I go home. Like I don't know what it is, but that's what that is.
Yeah. Well, we could all do better, right? Yes. On the last episode we recorded, I was like, I'm gonna make it a goal to freaking eat clean, and it's all about being self-aware and improving, not clean. Perfection, right?
I should be, but I don't.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. And like, I know I said this on the last episode too, but it takes a lot of time. And, I work a 10-hour shift and have an hour-long commute. And I'm like, by the end of the day, I'm like, Elliot, what do you want? And it's always the same thing. Chicken nuggets, French fries, and ranch. Like, I love him. And I can't forget the juice box, but he's very specific. Juice. And I was like, well, yeah, I eat at McDonald's more than I am proud to admit.
I love him.
I know, he's the best. But like I said in the beginning, Demi's known me. We've known each other for a long time. She actually went and got my nose pierced with me. You were there when I found out I was pregnant with my oldest son who was adopted. You knew me throughout that whole process. You sat at me at lunch when nobody else wanted to.
All of them, all of the guys and
yep, you everybody. Knew my oldest son's baby daddy, who's just a peach.
I was actually like one of his good friends too. Like
yeah. Still, they keep in touch. I was like, dude,
no, not anymore. I don't think he's talked to him since high school.
Yeah,
so.
But that was a trip.
About to drag him down here and be like, "Take a seat, boy."
No, it's been so long ago, and he really disconnected himself from that whole situation. So he wasn't very involved with the adoption, or he signed his rights away while I was still pregnant. But yeah, it's just a trip to look back at everything and be like, dude. And you and Gavin were together even then, back in high school. Actually, before that. So how did you and your husband meet? I need to know.
Basically, school.
What grade?
Okay. Well, we went to school together in like 3rd grade, Syracuse Elementary. But then I moved to Hill Air Force Base. And I went to Hillfield Elementary. And then I think he stayed there or he went to Arts Academy. I can't remember. And then I came back from there and we moved back to Syracuse. And we both went to Syracuse Junior High. So we had like a couple classes. I think only one. It was like English class, I'm pretty sure. In 7th grade. 8th grade, I didn't really like ever see him. And he said that's when he was like super stoner.
He's like, hey girl, hey. I saw you across the way.
Right? No, and it's funny because he's always like, in 7th grade, I always thought you were so cute and you had the coolest phone and I had a sidekick, like flip phone. Right?
You had the coolest phone.
Yeah. It's like, I just loved your phone. It was so cool. I was like, oh, I'm glad that's what attracted you to me.
Yeah, I'm super cute. Thanks.
That explains the male mind. Your phone was awesome. And you're like, what about me?
Well,
but your phone though.
But again, male mind, that's what they remember, right?
So yeah, the 8th grade, I didn't really see much of him. And then 9th grade, when we were just kind of like hanging out with everybody, like, I don't know, everybody, like from before I think you came to the school.
I was at a Christian school.
Yeah. So before Syracuse High School, at Syracuse Junior, it was like 9th grade and I was hanging out with just some of my friends, Allie. And
I remember Allie.
Yeah. So we were hanging out at her house and she was dating Cody Jacobson. And so he was hanging out with Gavin that night and me and Allie were just having a sleepover. And she's like, well, Cody's going to come over because her parents weren't home. I'm pretty sure they were like Wendover or somewhere.
And that was always it. They're not home.
Right? They're not home.
Hey.
We're going to hang out.
Hey.
Right? And then, so he came over and I don't think I was dating anybody then. I might have been. Who knows? So long ago.
Yeah.
And then they left, and me and Allie went and just like hung out outside with some other friends. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, Allie, you should give me his number. And so I initiated, and I texted him first, and I was like, hey, smiley face. Like, not emoji, because, that wasn't around.
No, that wasn't around yet.
Literally on my little Nokia phone.
Yeah,
like.
the colon and the...
I still do that.
Yep. And, so he just texted me after that, and then we just kind of talked after, and he actually asked me out over text during school, and I was texting back. I said...
hug after English?
Right? I was like... You have to ask me in person. And so I made him ask me in person, and then I said yes. And then I kissed him. And then he was like...
literally been together ever since.
That, I guess,
huh?
It's just history after that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been together since then.
There were no breaks ever.
There was one.
Really?
During the summer, yeah. That was about it, though. It was a couple months, and then we got back together. And
married with 3 beautiful kids.
I know. It's crazy.
That is crazy. And like when people tell me, they're like, "Oh, this is my true love," and I'm like, "Yeah, how long you been together?" And they're like, 6 months, and I'm like,
2 weeks.
"Dude, but let me tell you, like, we are not very old yet, and I know some people who like are like setting the bar, like, okay, like,
no, me and Brody we got together really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I met him a day after his birthday in person. Like, we were talking for like 2 weeks via Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And he thought I was a catfish.
Yes.
And so he came to my work while I was working. It was when I worked at the donut shop.
Oh, goodness.
And he showed up with his little brother.
He's like, I gotta scope this shit out.
He didn't think I was real.
That's epic.
But I moved in with him. I mean, it wasn't by choice or anything. My mom kicked me out. And it just kind of happened the way it did. But we moved in together 2 months after dating. And we've been together for 3 years.
Hey,
and
that's all
and
right.
that works for a lot of people.
We were insane.
Yeah.
Like, and
I'll give you an example of something I think is insane before we wrap this up, okay? And maybe it's just because I went through a gnarly divorce and I have the best ex-husband in the world. Who's just a golden child. I love him so much. I've become a little cynical over the last few years. And, one of my friends from elementary school, she went through kind of a bad divorce too. And she has a set of multiples. So she's on her own. And, that's hard. It's hard being a single mom alone, but, having twins or triplets, could you imagine? No. So she had to move back home. And she lived in my old neighborhood, the neighborhood I grew up in, where my mom just sold her house at, in good old Layton, Utah. But all of a sudden I'm seeing like on her Instagram and stuff that she's dating some kid that was like actually one of my first boyfriends in 5th grade. I kissed him on the cheek. All those memories rushing back, flooding back right now. No, just kidding. But we've all known each other since like 4th freaking grade, and like we'd all grown up in the same neighborhood, or if they're a part of the LDS church, so ward, if you know what that is. And I see that they're dating all of a sudden, and she had only been divorced for like a few months, and then he proposed to her, and she said yes, and they were engaged for like 3 months. So that's a little crazy to me, I mean, if they're happy, good for them. I'm supportive, love it. Really cool that they ended up together, but whoa, like
I don't think I could ever confidently say I would marry someone without living with them first. I don't think I could do that. I had to ask my coworker. I call her Wonder Bread.
Why?
Because she's the whitest.
Oh my God.
Most basic bitch. There's really nothing exciting.
She in her Uggs and have her pumpkin spice latte during the fall.
I mean, I haven't been there for the fall time, and she's new. But I wouldn't doubt it. Like, she is.
I love pumpkin spice lattes.
Me too.
And she is the most.
I mean, I'm pretty basic white bitch. Like,
lady, and I have though. No, me neither. But she found her boyfriend at like the singles ward thing.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know what the fuck that is.
They
but
have
apparently
those.
That's a thing. And then they dated for a year. They were gonna get married. because I guess dating for a year in the Mormon world is a really, really long time. Like, that was weird in itself.
Especially if they are a returned missionary. They're pretty eager to jump the gun.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was going to get married, and then COVID happened. She decided to get married anyway without telling her mom, without telling anybody.
I know where this is going. Was she stuck with someone that she hardly knew in quarantine?
But she wanted.
Shit.
She
Oh my
wanted to get
God.
married so she could have sex and move in with them, because they're not allowed to move in until they get married.
Yes.
But I had to ask her, like, because me and Brody have been together longer than they've been married and been just knowing of each other's existence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that to be like newlyweds and really getting to know the person you
What
married?
annoyances have you found?
Yeah, because like Brody, I can't talk shit on him because he's amazing, but like you learn a lot about someone when they move in with you. And it's just, I couldn't imagine being like,
everyone has their own quirks and
Yeah.
euphemisms and
like, could you
smell.
imagine
Like,
being like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna link my soul to yours forever and ever and ever and ever.
yeah.
But I don't know what kind of sex you like to have. I don't know what your preferred breakfast
Well, neither
is.
does the person asking the question,
That's
because
why
they've never
it's
had
weird
sex.
to me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, and it's even a
I
bigger
don't know,
deal
anyway.
in the
I agree,
LDS
though.
church
I
because they get sealed in the temple.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's for eternity. So, I mean, that is like not just an earthly commitment. That's like eternity and beyond. Like,
I don't know. All I know is if I married someone and we had never had sex, and all of a sudden, I always think of the worst case scenario. Like, I could not imagine marrying someone, again, just pretending that I'm Mormon here for a second. And then we go to have sex for the very first time, and he's like, oh, by the way, I think I like knife play. I would be like, I don't know what that is. And I'm
great
scared.
example, though,
I'm
because
scared.
some LDS boys are some of the kinkiest little freaks out there.
Yeah, like,
they
could
get
you-
down and rowdy, like.
And they're like, I like to pretend that I'm a bear. You would be like, why? I don't know.
I like to dress up as a furry.
Yeah, like, could you imagine how that would be?
Oh my gosh.
No, dude. But I mean, like, that's pretty common in a lot of religions, a lot of Christian religions, and a lot of religion in general.
Catholic,
Modesty and abstinence, you know. But I mean, I couldn't imagine like marrying someone, never seeing like his penis. I'm gonna go there, but like for real, like, what if it's not up to your standards? Like, I'm sorry, like, it's just like you gotta figure people out and stuff. And I don't know. You're lucky that you found your soulmate at 14, 15 years
We
old.
moved in together at 18.
Yeah.
He turned 18 and moved into my parents' house where I still lived, and we were still going to high school.
Yeah.
And I'm so surprised my mom was like, all right, whatever, as long as he's got a job.
Yeah, but you guys have always been like on the straight and narrow. You've always like had good heads on your shoulders. So I'm sure your mom wasn't worried about you guys shacking up and like something terrible happening. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I was
Everybody-
19 when I got pregnant, so I mean, it could have happened.
I literally was just going to say, like, everybody in high school in our friend group was having sex, but I'm the one that got caught, like, because I'm the one that got pregnant.
Hey, I'm
so.
surprised we didn't have one earlier because, I mean, you know, high school.
Yeah.
The power of God.
It's all in divine timing, you know.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But Demi, I seriously want to thank you.
Yeah.
This has been such a fun episode catching up with you. I'm just so happy that you are happy and you're living such an awesome life. I look at you and your beautiful family and I'm like, dude, I have so much love for you guys. So I appreciate you driving all the way up, because you guys know I get that wrong. I usually say down. Driving down to Ogden. Appreciate you. Hannah, I appreciate you coming on, and you will hear from Hannah again within the coming weeks or months, depending on when those episodes drop. It's fun getting to know you. I know the Hard Talks fam will love you. But all that being said, guys, if you want to earn some Hard Talks merch, I would love to ask you to hop onto Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick written review. You can say anything, even if it's just like, "Sup, Felicia, you're killing it." I'd love to hear from you, and I cannot express that enough. It is huge when you guys help us share shit, follow our shit, tell your friends about us, even if you think we're ridiculous, because we are. You can send us an email, hitting us up about content you'd like to hear us cover at hardtalkswithbnh@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at hardtalkswithbnh and Twitter at hardtalkswithb1. But until next time, fam, I hope you have a great week. Be smart, be kind, love yourself. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Sarah was here, she would say that's everything. So, just be smart, be a good person. Much love, guys. Until next week. Bye.
Glad you'd buy. Hard talk, yeah.